Hello everyone, and welcome to my review for Kengan Omega Chapter 119. Yes, I'm still sick, but I feel a lot better than I did the last few days. Anyway, before I get into this week's review, I of course have to mention my subscriber goal for 2021, hitting 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So, if you're already a fan of the channel and you're not subscribed, you might as well to help me reach that goal. The other thing is my Patreon, if you want to help support me and the channel directly, while also getting access to reviews for solo leveling in the Boxer. You can always become a patron. I have a link to that down in the description. Now, with that out of the way, let's get on with the review. Well, that was easy, I guess. So, I was not expecting the fight to end this chapter, and yet it did. Kind of weird, because we didn't get any kind of flashback for Okubo yet. I guess we can get one next chapter. I could definitely see that, I guess. But yeah, Tarashi got low diffed. I'm actually kind of surprised. I guess he really was not kidding when he said he was the weakest Purgatory fighter. Holy shit. Yeah. All you guys who were saying he's like low S tier or something, boy, that did not age well. That did not age well. I saw a few of you, I understood what you were saying. I was like, yeah, you know what, maybe we'll see. No. Fuck no. If anything, Okubo may be low S tier now. I don't know. We need to see him fight someone who's not garbage. In order to judge that. We'll talk a little more about this fight once I'm done talking about the chapter itself. So, in this chapter, we find out that Tarashi was hired by the French government, or agents of the French government, to track down and kill Nicholas, because as we know, the French government was not able to officially request to extradite him from Japan, because, well, then they would have to explain why, and then they would have to explain the Special Ops Force and the war crime stuff. So instead, they did that other thing that world governments do, which is hiring assassins to murder people in other countries. So they hired him, and they wanted him to either kill Nicholas in a fight, or make it look like he died from his wounds after the fact. You know, you can't just go and shoot someone. You gotta be a little more subtle than that. So, fortunately, Okoya has already done like half of Tarashi's job, because Nicholas is like bedridden at the moment. So in theory, Tarashi, if he could get past the security, would be able to just, I don't know, do something very minor to just sort of push Nicholas over the edge and make him die. So he wants the fight to be over quickly. He even thinks about even forfeiting. He's just like, oh my god, will this dude just beat me already? If not, I'll just forfeit. Which is kind of nuts. So, for the most part already, Tarashi's not really that interested in winning, which is kind of like, okay, I guess that explains his performance. Now Okubo is just flexing on Tarashi. He refuses to get a ring out, because he wants to beat Tarashi's ass. He does not like that Tarashi thinks martial arts are a bunch of bullshit, or that martial artists are stupid. So he's gonna win by KO. But he even manages to rile up Tarashi into trying to beat him. He pisses him off. And Okubo exploits the weakness of Tarashi's shivering, which is that shivering is something you do when you're cold in order to heat up. So if you shiver way too much for too long, you'll get too hot and you'll overheat. Yeah, you'll have like a fucking heat stroke or something. So you need like 20 seconds to cool down. I guess this is a bodily reflex rather than Tarashi controlling it manually. I don't know. So Okubo uses this 20 seconds to knock out Tarashi. He gets him down on the ground, goes for ground game, which is one of Okubo's strong suits, and I think he gets him in a guillotine hold, like a guillotine chokehold, and he knocks him out that way. Now, Okubo, being the awesome guy he is, tells Tarashi, you're not bad for like a new guy, because Tarashi has next to no fighting experience, not like underground fighting experience. He's not a martial artist. So he says, you're not bad, but I'm way out of your league. I am so far beyond you. You were not the right person to send up against me. So that's the fight, I guess. It seems like Okubo has won. And that's a little underwhelming, to say the least. This is definitely one of the more fights of the tournament. Definitely in the lower half of the fights in terms of quality. Not great. Pretty disappointing overall, to be totally honest. Tarashi's really not as entertaining anymore. We know he's like a punk bitch. He's not very strong. Kind of a letdown on his part. However, Okubo doing very good. So now he has 1-to-1 win-loss. Pretty good. Hopefully we get an actual high difficulty fight out of him at some point so we can get a better gauge of his strength. That's why I'm hoping that we'll get some kind of flashback for him in the next chapter. That would be nice. But who knows what Sandro will decide to do. But I do like that in this fight, real martial arts beats gimmick bullshit meme martial arts. MMA beats like fucking made up bullshit. That's very good. That's very satisfying. I like that aspect of this fight, so that I don't have a problem with. But now that this fight is over, there are only 4 fighters left in total. 2 rounds left. So now we're going to be seeing who's right and who's wrong in the next chapter, or the chapter after, whenever we get the reveal of the next fighters. We're going to find out if Oma fights Faye or Lelong, and if Waka fights Lelong or Faye. I think just about everyone now agrees that Faye is probably the Tiger's Vessel, so it's going to be a matter of whether or not Oma fights the Tiger's Vessel to see who is the true heir of the Nico style, or we see if Wakatsuki can defeat someone who's basically another Oma. See how he's grown from the Annihilation tournament. Alternatively, you would have the strongest present fighters from each organization fighting each other, with Oma versus Lelong, or you have the battle of the veteran fighters with Wakatsuki versus Lelong. Either of those matchups I'm kind of alright with, but you guys know me. My predictions, my preferred matchups are Lelong versus Wakatsuki and Oma versus Faye. I'm a little iffy about Oma versus Faye. I'm mildly concerned that that's going to be a repeat of Agito versus Lutien. Fingers crossed that it's not. I have more confidence in a Wakatsuki versus Lelong fight because I feel that would just kind of be more grounded in real martial arts. And for the most part, I think those, well, at the very least, the most recent fights that were just purely real martial arts versus real martial arts were pretty good. Chinese martial arts versus Sambo, Judo versus Judo, and even then the made-up shit, Nicholas versus Okoya, that was pretty good too. So here's hoping that at least one of these 2 fights is going to be one of the best in the tournament. I would be immensely disappointed if Sandrovich really dropped the ball with either of them. I'm not sure which one. You know what? I've kind of come to expect that a Nico style versus Nico style fight will not turn out that great. So I'm just really hoping that Lelong versus Wakatsuki is really good. I'm hoping that's a top tier Kengan fight. For all of the hype that Lelong has gotten, I really hope he doesn't disappoint. So I will be saying now that because Tarashi has lost, and now the score is tied, Lelong is going to think, alright, I got to turn this ship around, I got to make sure we get back in the lead. So Lelong's going to go up next. So the next fight is going to be Lelong versus Wakatsuki. Of course, I could be wrong. You're welcome to give your own predictions and your reasons for your predicted matchups in the comments below. I look forward to reading them. So with that, that is all I have to say for this week's review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Kengan Omega chapter reviews every week. If you enjoy other series such as Jujutsu Kaisen, Record of Ragnarok, and Chainsaw Man, I do videos in those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Kengan Omega with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce in this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. And since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons, Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Scratch23, Moonshadow935, Rat, Ryzen 4K, and Artist. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the end of videos, or access to reviews for Solo Leveling and The Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.